Hi, welcome back. In this segment, we're going to talk about the characteristics of the start and finish of your line of reasoning. And this is actually the second and third components of the 5 steps to creating clear, logical arguments. The first one we discussed was the categorical form. Number 2 is the start of the line of reasoning, what that looks like. And number 3 is the finish of the line of reasoning and what that looks like. So to illustrate, we're going to use a simple argument. Our main conclusion, is the president was born in Hawaii. And the line of reasoning consists of 2 premises. Premise number 1, the president has a Hawaiian birth certificate. And premise number 2, one who has a Hawaiian birth certificate was born in Hawaii. That leads to our conclusion, the president was born in Hawaii. You can see in this line of reasoning there's a start and there's a finish. And we'll show how that works right here in the template. So when you look at the logic bridge template, here of course you have your subject column and your predicate column. This is our first premise. Here's our second premise. Here's our conclusion. You'll notice that the subject phrase of the first premise must be identical to the subject phrase of the conclusion. So that gives you your start. Whenever you're making an argument and you're coming up with reasoning, starting your line of reasoning with the subject of the conclusion will put you right where you need to begin. And you know your ending point because the predicate phrase of the last premise, here's number 2, but you could have 5, 10 premises, is identical to the premise phrase of the conclusion. So you're always going to have this matching between the beginning of the first premise and the beginning of the conclusion, and the ending of the last premise in the line of reasoning, and the ending of your conclusion. So just to review, this start characteristic and this finish characteristic represents the elements 2 and 3 of the 5 steps to creating clear logical arguments. You have the start. The subject phrase of the first premise must be the subject phrase of the main conclusion. And the characteristic of your finish in your line of reasoning is the predicate phrase of the last premise in the line of reasoning must be the predicate phrase of the main conclusion. And as we go through examples, you'll see how that's reflected over and over. Thank you.